Mine says first. You know?
Con.
Because like I said, me and the brothers was talking, me and K.O.Y was talking, and the Spirit led me to a cold spiritual breakdown, you know what I'm saying, on what it means to till the ground and Adam's curse in totality, you know what I'm saying? Adam's curse is cold because we all going through it. We remember the curses of Deuteronomy 28, but we forget about the curse in Genesis from the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And these curses, you know, joke. Okay, you got one? All right, cool.
He got cheese it too. I ain't never seen him smell that on. All phrases.
And I'm actually all this. So
that means the Spirit hit the eye.
You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
God. So the question on the table was, why was captivity good? Right?
No. What precept could you go to prove that God put us in captivity for our good?
Oh damn, I don't have that, but let me read this anyway. 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse number 12. Right? Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. For it is a token, right, or a sign of his great goodness, when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they become to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us, right? So these other nations, the Most High, this is how we know the Most High is not dealing with these other nations too, because he's going to continue to deal with us and punish us when we go off, right? And at the same time that's happening, these other nations is piling up their sins, because the Most High forbears patiently. That means he's waiting patiently, right? He's holding himself back patiently to let them come to the fullness of their wine glass. Then he's gonna knock that table off, that wine off the table.
That's right.
But meanwhile, he deals with us for the time being. You know what I'm saying? So
That's good.
that's all I have.
I accept that like a mug. You know what I mean? I knew Khalil was gonna come with a hard one.
Well, let me finish that.
Okay.
Verse 15, right? Lest that being come to the height of sin afterwards he should take vengeance of us, and therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us, and though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people.
And so I got a precept to go with that too, you know what I'm saying, after this one. But to prove that captivity is for our good, right? This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 24, starting at verse 5. Thus says Yahweh, the Elohim of Yasharallah, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that carried away captive of Judah, whom I sent out of this place into a land of the Chaldeans for their good.
That's
right. So the
Jeremiah
captivity,
24?
Jeremiah 24.
That's a nice
for
cut
our
right there.
Good. You know what I'm saying? So this if that captivity is for our good, how much more is this captivity for our good? Then that makes you start thinking in a spiritual matter of it. You know what I'm saying? It's probably for our good to show us how to actually, serve properly one another, you know what I'm saying, as well as serve the Most High God. You know, you can't be a leader unless you know how to, be a servant, you know? So then I got this other precept though that hits home too.
The Hebrews 12 with that? The Hebrews 12? Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, come on. This is a different one, but it shows what he's going to do for us in captivity, right? This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 11, verses 16. Therefore say, thus says the Lord God, Yahweh Elohim, although I have cast them far off among the heathens, and although I have scattered them amongst the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary. Key word, little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. Dang. So he's going to be a little bit of peace. We're going to have a little bit of peace here. He can't give us full peace here because we ain't going to want to leave. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he gives us good days and bad days. You know what I'm saying? And so appreciate the little sanctuary that he gives us. You know what I'm saying?
That's mighty right there. I love that one.
Little sanctuary.
Yeah.
Little.
Hey, the water for that one. I needed to hear that.
To add on top of that, to be for our good, right?
So, brother, got some information for you, man.
Bears what? Righteous fruit, right? So that leads back into the Hebrews 12 and 11. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Right? So when you get chastised, you be chastised at damn 8 years old, 14 years old, 15, 16, 17. But then if you ain't getting your ass whooped by your parents, man, you gonna go off later on in
big
life.
facts, big facts.
I'm glad I got my ass whooped by mine.
Really?
You know what I'm
Man.
saying? If I didn't, I would have been a
Yeah,
knucklehead out
Yeah,
here.
tripping.
You know what I'm saying? Them ass whoopings really help all my life.
That's what
Now
separated
I-
us
now I
from
know how
us
to,
and
walk
Jakes
this
who
world.
don't want to come into the truth.
Hey, big facts, big
That
facts.
iPad moms
It's
and
a humbling
iPad dads.
experience.
I did want to share something with you guys. You know what I'm saying? That God of War kind of helped me come to understanding. You know what I'm saying? In a spiritual manner. You know what I'm saying? But this is the book of Genesis, because like I said, a little sanctuary and how it's good for our captivity. So I was gonna go to the book of Genesis dealing with Adam's sin. Right? It says, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast listened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat. So that's one order that you see Adam breaking. He's
Yeah.
breaking the order of the Most High God. The order was he rules the woman, not follows the woman. So that's
that part.
one thing that he's messing up right there,
No, I
right?
didn't have the.
What is it? It says, y'all following me?
Con. With Eve. With Eve.
Husbandry, right? Husbandry is when you, it's like being a caretaker, right? You take care of things. So when you do husbandry, right? Most of the time it goes into agriculture, right? It goes into fruits, vegetables, and things of the sort, right? Grapes of the vine, and also it goes into livestock, right? But husbandry is just you being a husband, right? To whatever you're taking care of, right? Whether it be children, wife, or literally just agriculture and livestock, right? Because that's really what husbandry is, right? That's why the Most High, I think Rawchaa said, he talks about being husbandry, right?
Yeah.
He talks about husbandry, right? Sowing the seed, you know, getting, planting the vine, you know, these different things. So, and the big thing about husbandry too is that if you slack in husbandry, you will lose crop or livestock, right? Because you didn't water it, you didn't fence it, right? You didn't put nets on the ground so the weeds is choking it, right? So it's so many different things that go into husbandry, but that's what the brother is going to
So that's what I was going to go into, was the curses of Adam and Eve. The curses of Eve, I'm going to read first, and then I'm going to pour out the curses of Adam. And this basically is a lesson, at least what I believe, is a lesson to say, ain't no getting around the conflict. We're going to have to go through conflict after conflict after conflict with one another. It's just how do we deal with this conflict is where it trickles down into, right? Got me on this camera. You know I'm nervous. But anyway.
I'm camera shy too, right?
Act like it's not there. Hey, you with me, Khalil? All right, so it says, unto the woman, this is Genesis chapter 3, verses starting at 16 on down. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over you. When you look up the word desire, it goes into run over. Her desire is going to be to want to run over you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we see in our community, in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, is the woman trying to run over the husband or trying to run over her man, but her man ends up ruling in the end. And this is what makes a lot of relationships crumble. If you don't know what the curses are, then the woman more than likely is going to leave because she's seeing her man not letting her run over him. She thinks, oh, that's out of line. You know, he should let me wear what I want to wear. He should let me free the nips. No, you ain't freeing the nips. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep the nips in. All right? But with that being said, a lot of women is going to get frustrated as a man ruling over her and take it like he's trying to be controlling when he's not. He's just doing the job that God told him to do from the get-go. And Eve made it to where you guys is going to be ran over. You know what I'm saying? And ruled. She didn't want to listen. Anyways. Then we go to the man. It says, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat. So that's showing one thing that Adam did. He broke the order of God. You know, the order of God is that a man rules over his woman, not his woman rules over him. You know, he don't follow the woman's supposed to follow him. So if you're seeing in your relationship and it's going bad, a lot of men don't want to stand up because they're scared of losing their woman. Just like Adam was scared of losing his woman. You know, but that's the order of things. So if you're going outside of the order of God, then of course everything is going to be out of order in your relationship. You got to go in the order of God and rule over your woman properly. It's a proper way to rule over it. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be a lion in your house. I've done that before. Don't be that. It crumbles everything, right? It says, cursed is the ground for thy sake. It says, cursed is the ground for thy sake. So for man's sake, but it's talking to Adam. This is a curse to Adam. This ain't a curse to the other trees in the garden. The other trees in the gardens is other nations. This ain't a curse on Esau, you know what I'm saying, the Arabs, East Indians, etc. This is a curse on the Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. It says, cursed be the ground. The ground is where we walk on the earth. So the earth is going to be cursed for us. This is a spiritual meaning of what I'm saying. The earth is going to be cursed. It's not going to work for us, but against us, you know? Then it goes on to say, and on top of that, let me keep reading. Cursed be the ground for thy sake. In sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. The ground is also dealing with our scriptures, our knowledge, you know? That's the soil, is our knowledge, right? So cursed is that too, because we're going to be in sorrow trying to figure out who he was again. Adam got that taken away, you know, and that's what it means to be a husbandry. You know what I'm saying? He's got to till the ground. He's got to till the ground, which is the scriptures, and figure out who he is. Is this making sense so far?
That's right.
So with that being said, it says, in sorrow shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. You in sorrow trying to figure out precepts and trying to get brothers to understand it and follow it and stuff. It's sorrowful at this point because niggas just don't know it and it don't click for a lot of people, right? Then it goes on to say, thorns and thistles shall bring forth to thee. So thorns and thistles is not good things. This is what this truth brings to you. It's thorns and thistles with brothers and stuff. Camps being divided against one another. Yeah, go ahead. You got something?
Hardships, burdens, scourge on the sides. Just the same way you're trying to run through a thorn bush, man.
Exactly.
You're going to get jammed up.
And that's what it is in the scriptures, though. When we're sitting over here tilling our ground and trying to figure out who we are, we're debating with this brother's doctrine, that brother's doctrine, going back and forth here. It's like thistles, you know what I'm saying, to where it's like it's hard for us to get through in life and figure out who we are. We're making it harder on ourselves, not understanding this curse. But it's a curse. Nonetheless, it said it has to happen. You and your brothers are going to be at odds. You and your family are going to be at odds. That's just the curse that comes on Adam, right? It says, what does it say? And thou shalt eat the herbs of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou sweat. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread. We're sweating trying to figure out this bread and eat this bread. I'm sweating trying to make sure I keep the Shabbat. I'm sweating trying to make sure I got my tassels on, all these other types of things. I'm sweating trying to make sure me and my brothers aren't at odds and we can come together, you know? It says, till thou return unto the ground. And you're going to be sweating until you return unto your law, statutes, and commandments. For out of it you were taken. You were taken from this knowledge. You know, so we got to get this knowledge back. And it's going to be a sweat and it's going to be a hardship every single day, man. It says, for dust thou art, and unto dust thou return. That's talking about being dead, but that's also talking about Adam being taken from a low state. That's what the dust is talking about. He was taken from the west side of Africa and led to Jerusalem, to Israel, you know? And that's where we're gonna return back unto dust, back into a low state where we're at right now, until we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, going back to the husbandry part that this brother gladly brought to my attention. When you planting a seed and stuff, you gotta beat up the dirt. Can you explain that real quick?
So when it goes to planting a seed, you have to make sure that you toss the soil a certain amount of inches, right? I believe it's somewhere around like 8 to 16 inches deep. You gotta make sure that the roots have somewhere to grab onto. Because if you just dig up a little pot and you dig up a little hole and there's hard dirt around there, the roots are not gonna travel through that hard dirt, right? So that's why all grounds have to be tilled to be able to be filled with seeds. You see what I'm saying?
Now,
go ahead.
So mind you, with that being said, that's dealing with a brother trying to bring him into the truth, dealing with your wife. You know, when you till the ground, you're beating up the ground. Man. So when you tell your wife, hey, you need to listen to me, it's beating up the ground. Yeah, and it hurts, you know? Same thing when you're talking to a brother in this truth and you're trying to get him to understand it. You're tilling the ground, you're beating up the ground, telling him, look, you can't do that, bro. And it causes friction towards one another, etc. Because you're trying to make that seed be planted to where it could take root. And now, mind you, to even back this up in the New Testament, you look at Rawchaa. What did he do? He went to go sow seeds amongst the soil. You know what I'm saying? The soil's dealing with the nation, the seed is dealing with the truth. that we were supposed to give, and we got to sit here and sow seeds and plant it in good soil. Hope that it plants in good soil. That's what tilling the ground is, and that's what husbandry is. It's not necessarily saying physically, the physical part is there. Physically, we're gonna have to work, etc. by sweat our belt for Esau and all this other type of stuff. As well as spiritually, we're gonna have to work into the ground with our people. Right. So there is no escaping it. Just enjoy God's movie, whether it's good or bad. You know what I'm saying?
And when I was thinking about this, right, and we watch videos and have extensive eye-opening revelations from the brothers. You know what I mean? Especially WFI. Shout out to those brothers. Right, and but when you think about tilling the ground, right, every person is a patch of land, right? And then certain people, their land is dry, right? So when you got dry dirt and you got rain going on it and compacting it, and then you got more rain and it's compacting it, when you have to till that ground, you're gonna have to hurt that ground. So you're gonna have to hurt that person's feelings, right? Some people, we gotta hurt their feelings more than once, right? More than 10 times, because that's the only way for me to get this thing deep down underneath you, right? If I'm trying to plant a seed in you, I can't just be like, there you go. Some people want to plant like that.
Yeah,
right?
It don't work like that.
So no, it don't work like you just shake it in your hand, you just go ahead and throw it. It might happen with some peas seeds and you keep on watering it, they might take root. But that's because they weeds, right? Weeds gonna grab onto anything.
They grow wild.
Right? So so the main thing that I'm getting at though is that some brothers, right, they get mad at other brothers for hurting people, right? People feelings get hurt, you talk rough to somebody and you at camp or whatever. But really what you're doing, right, you breaking down that soil. So sometimes you gotta get rough. Sometimes I'm not gonna be able to be that sweet dude and you coming to me and you got all this dirt compacted. I need to now come through. We used to have this little thing, right? And you'll roll it, it's like 80 pounds, you'll roll it and it'll end up feeding into the dirt and you gotta go back and forth and back and forth. Yeah. I might have to hit that thing with the, you know what I mean? A few times, yeah. Just so I could get this seed into this brother brain, right? And sometimes it's fertile ground, right? So all you really gotta do is this. Boom, there you go.
Sometimes it's that easy.
Sometimes it's that easy, right? Where you can just put the seed, boom, it go a fingertip in, boom, cover it up, plant, right? But it's gonna grow and root when it wants to, right? My cousin hit me this morning, right? Planted seeds in him years ago, right? 2 years ago. And then somebody else came through that water it like Apollos, right? Then he called me this morning. I'm hurting too. I was messed up. I'm hurting. He called me, boom, like, hey, look, brother just told me, you know what I mean? Brother was just talking to me. I don't even know this dude, right? And I was like, man, that was an angel, right? That had to be an angel, right? Brother telling him, boom, 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 you ain't supposed to be eating this pork, this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? And he was like, bro, I had to call you, bro. And I was like, all praises to the Most High. Guess what I did with his seed? I just did this. And then I sprinkled a little bit of water on there, and I said, all right, well, maybe one day it'll go. Yeah. And sometimes you grow in a bamboo. You grow in a bamboo stick, right? And they grow underground for 20 feet, right? And then they just spring up in 2 weeks, right? So sometimes you got that thing going on where they just marinating and they kind of going here and they going into science and cosmetology and they actually growing, but they growing underneath, right? You don't know they growing.
And they populate like a motherfucker too.
This brother was growing like that. It was like, nah, it can't be. It gotta be. And that's him just getting deeper and deeper. And then it said, 2 weeks. Boom, here I am.
And then that goes back to that scripture to back up what the brother is saying. We gotta really be in the spirit of knowing we don't yield to increase. Sometimes you can get lost with the knowledge that you got and the vessel you're trying to heal and get this knowledge to where you start thinking you got control to make this person grow. You don't. All we can do is water and plant. The Most High God yields the increase. He's the one that makes somebody have a desire for this truth and want to follow this truth. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand these type of things instead of getting so stressed out because a nigga don't get it. You know what I'm saying? If he don't get it, he don't get it. It's not meant for him to get it right now. And just let it go. And same thing with your wife too. Same thing with your wife and your friends, etc. You know what I'm saying? God is going to be the one that makes this relationship work properly. It doesn't matter how much times you come home, how much times you're cleaning, how much times you're doing this. If God wants it to work, it's gonna work. If God don't want it to work, it don't matter what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't gonna work. That's just the case, man.
And I was gonna say as well, husbandry got a lot to do with pruning, right? You got to get the dead stuff off so the good stuff could come alive. And pruning is also a painful process too. Think about it. You clipping a living organism, the tree hurt. You know what I mean? The tree ain't like it ain't got no feelings, right? They got feelings. You know what I mean? Talk to them. So you can talk to them. Tree huggers. You know what I mean? But they live. You feel what I'm saying? They hurt too. You know what I mean? They die. They live. You know what I mean? So the thing is though, but you gotta prune them to get them to grow out, right? Sometimes you gotta prune them you gotta clip them on the tip so they could go wide.
Sometimes
right?
you gotta clip the leaf off, or sometimes you gotta actually get to that stem.
Man.
One time you got a stem aiming out, right? It got 2 yellow leaves on it.
Man.
Oh, let me just clip the yellow leaves. No, if you clip that stem, it's gonna grow into 2 branches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta get deeper in that thing. You know what I'm saying? That's why Proverbs 27:5 says, "Open rebuke is better than secret love."
That's right.
I don't want to just act like I love the plant and just be like, "Yeah, I love my plant," but no, if you really love it, you gonna what? Correct it. It got a yellow leaf, got a couple brown leaves. Let me go and correct that plant with true love by action, and so it can grow well and not wither away.
And it hurts though. That's the thing though. Cause you got this
And
tree,
it's work.
right? You got this tree, right? This could be brothers, this could be husbands, this could be wives, right? You got this tree and you absolutely have to hurt the tree feeling. You have to hurt the tree feeling. As much as you don't want to hurt the tree feeling, you gotta hurt the tree feeling. Just so the tree could be good and grow. Cause you know what we do? We prune ourselves. Every Passover, right around the corner, we about to be pruning like a mug. You know what I mean? We've been pruning all year, right? But we about to be pruning like a mug before the Passover come. Why? Because we need to make sure that all those dead things that we done acquired over the year is off of us when we go into this new
I
year.
have a precept on exactly what he's talking about. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 1. Cry aloud what he was talking about, like you know, not caring for like your feelings, bro. This is what we need to do. A lot of people based off feelings. Yahweh don't deal with feelings. Like, I don't feel like doing this. How many times, like, all right, we all got jobs, right? How many times you don't feel like going to work? All right, so if you go by your feelings, then you don't have money to pay rent, you can't survive. You know what I mean? These are things that we need to do, right? So look, cry aloud, spare not. That means I can't care about your feelings because it's something that I need to do, right? Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. That means speak proud. Oh, flee Satan. How somebody said that phrase? See, exactly. I am glad y'all seeing this. I'm glad y'all seeing this. You see, I caught it though. I caught it.
Correct that evil spirit.
I corrected that. You know what I'm saying? So when things like that do happen, and like, you know, it's wicked and it's not you in like inside your mind, that's Satan shooting fiery darts.
It says cast down all evil thoughts.
All praises, and that's right. And that's Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 and down. But let me get back to like this though, right? Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, as show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. So exactly what this brother said, man. It like go hand in hand. It's like I can't fix nothing if I don't know something's wrong with it. Like if I have a cut, right? If I notice that there's a cut there, this could get infected. This turned to getting green to where you got to get chopped off now.
Gotta chop that shit.
You know what I'm saying? But it's getting that I notice that it's there. Oh shit, I'm cut. Damn, let me go to a doctor. You know what I mean? But the whole point is knowing what you're not doing is very important, so you can build and grow and correct in Yahweh's name. But not only that, but everything else, because Yahweh is the first thing to everything else. If you guys caught that, in your house, I'm outside my pray, man.
Another thing I want to add on that, right? When it goes into cry loud, spare not on another spiritual foe, right? When you crying, that means what? You showing emotion towards it, right? You crying aloud. You showing your emotions broadly, right? Crying aloud and you're sparing not. Usually we use that term to not spare their feelings, but we don't spare our own feelings either. Right. No matter how it make me feel.
Oh, I need to let this cry out.
Well, I'm gonna let this cry out. I'm gonna show my emotions. I'm not gonna spare myself. I'm not gonna suppress my emotions or feelings about the matter. Right? Cry aloud, spare not. Right? Lift up that voice like a trumpet, meaning what? Be an authoritative, man. Be an authority over something that you control. If you have something to do and you have a work to do of husbandry and a work to do in this world, you have to show that actual authority towards it, man. With emotion, right, and care and authority to show my people what? Their transgressions, their incorrectness, man. It's like that plant that's withering away. right? I gotta correct that plant because why? I'm showing emotion. And I'm not sparing my feelings. I'm not gonna be a no damn hippie, you know. Well, we can't hurt the leaves, and no, man, we cutting that plant so it can grow in a a good stature, right? And I got a precept on that real quick.
Bring it out, God.
Right. This is Ezekiel chapter 17 and verse number 10. Yea, behold, being planted, shall it prosper? Shall it not utterly wither? When the east wind toucheth it, it shall wither in the furrows where it grew. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, say now to the rebellious house, know ye not that what these things mean? Tell them, behold, the king of Babylon is come to Jerusalem, and hath taken the king thereof, and the princes thereof, and led them with him to Babylon. Right? So that goes into what? These other nations, they have us in their damn garden or they bio dome.